Is this sweet? I can't tell.
Keep going.
Alright, I don't know why that was so funny, but okay.
Yeah. Death Angel with their new album, The Evil Divide. This is their 8th album. It's a follow-up to A Dream Calls for Blood from 2013. Nuclear Blast Records. Death Angel's a thrash metal band.
It went away for a while and then came back, and they came back really good.
Mm-hmm. Thrash metal is a genre of metal where things are really fast.
And edgy. Nah, not really. War's
Sometimes.
Talking about war is not really edgy anymore. Singing about killing people, that's surprisingly tame for some people.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think?
I fucking love this album. It's because one thing that happened with the Dream Calls for Blood was that album was kind of, at least in my opinion, a lot like a firework. Which when I first listened to that album, it was like, oh yeah, this album's awesome, and then I listened to the album a lot, and then honestly, because that came out in 2014, 2013. Ooh, see, and so but then after that, I haven't really listened to that album much since then, if really at all. So it's just that, it's not like Relentless Retribution, where that album, like, I still listen to a lot of songs from that album, all the time. The title track, song Brothers, things like that. Like, there's just a lot of good songs from that album that I still listen to, whereas not so much the last one. This has a lot of good songs on it. And I also feel like in some ways it's a more mature album. Is that the way I want to go? I'm just trying to think if that's the terminology that I want to use, because like with songs like Hatred United Hate, that song, it's a little bit different. That's the song I'm thinking of. I think it is, yeah. Like, it's just a little bit, the rest of the album is for the most part, the rest of the album is a thrash fest. It's a thrash album. It goes fast, gang vocals, lots of palm mutes, shredded guitar solo songs. They're like 3-4 minutes long. Boom, the thing's in the works. And that song's just a little bit different. Also, the middle section of that song is just fucking awesome. And there's just like a lot of cool songs. The Moth was the song that that we did a dual review of with that one Hawkins song back a little while ago. And the other songs that are really cool in this album, I like Hell to Pay. Hell to Pay is a really good song, and Calls for Alarm was really cool. Even though, like, my first listen to, I wasn't the biggest fan of the song, I like the Electric Cell. That song grew on me. I don't know how. It's like a little bit, I don't know. For whatever reason, that song just didn't sit well with me at first, but now it works. And I just think this album, again, just from this first listen, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more memorable, at least in my opinion. Because, like, again, that's just my opinion of what happened with their last album. Like, because, like, The Moth is heavy. Like, the middle section of that song is awesome. It's heavy as shit. Same thing with United Hatred. And this album is great. It's great because, when you listen to a lot of old school thrash bands, not a whole lot of them still do thrash, like in a pure sense, like doing all the old school shit. And Death Angel still does it. This is still the thrash that I could see this album possibly coming out in like the early '90s, in the late '80s, and it would fit, in my opinion. Like, it, with that kind of production quality of back then, with this songwriting, it would fit. Mark.
I never know how to say his last name, so I just call him
Mark O.
Marky O.
All right.
I'm not even going to try to look like a jackass trying to pronounce the last name.
I think I like his vocals a lot more on this album. They're more defined, in the sense that I think he's like there's a little bit more singing on this album, a little bit, or more melodic qualities to his voice on this album, which I like. I like that because one of my favorite things from their last album, which is actually almost like a bonus track or like a B-side from that album, or right around that time, was their cover of Heaven and Hell. And I was like, this is really good. And so, and there's kind of that a little bit in the vocal style. The riffage, it's thrash riffage. It's some cool, like one of my favorite riffs is the main riff to Hell to Pay. Like, that riff is awesome. That's just a straight up awesome, pure fucking thrash riff. The drums are awesome. It's one of those things where, in some instances, and I can't distinguish when and when it isn't, you don't really notice. The drums aren't like, boom, what is this? They fit so perfectly that you're just looking at the song as a whole. And when it's not like, when you listen to like Lamb of God, you listen to Lamb of God, the drums are these crazy, things because, Chris Adler is an amazing drummer. But like this, it fits. And that's kind of all it needs to be for this album. The drums don't have to be this big extravagant thing. They fit perfectly. I just think that this is a more truer songwriting on this album. Again, maybe the only thing that I would say is that, at least in my opinion, I feel like, again, going back to my favorite Death Angel album, which is Relentless Retribution, I feel like there could be more beef behind this album. Like listening to, Relentless Revolution, that song just kind of kicks in, and then when the chords kick in with the intro, with the cymbals, it's like boom, and it punches you in the face. And this album punches you in the face, just maybe not as hard. It's not a straight right hand. It's a nice jab punch. It's not the knockout punch. It's a lot of medium-sized punches going at you. So that's like the only thing, is it maybe that. But otherwise, this album is fucking fun to listen to. It's fun. It's probably it's good driving music, and at the same time not good driving music, because I just want to drive. I kind of want to drive a little bit fast listening to this, which is what happens when I listen to thrash metal. But it's just a very, very enjoyable album. I really like it.
So Death Angel started off and they put out like fucking The Ultraviolence and Frolic Through the Dark and those albums, and they kind of then they broke up in 1991, and then they came back 2004. They put out The Art of Dying, and they've been on a roll ever since then. They put out 5 albums since they reformed, and to me, this is by far the best one. Before this album, I really liked Relentless Retribution the most. And I kind of feel, I was thinking about The Dream Calls for Blood today. I was like, when I listen to that album, I'm having a good time. I really like it, but when I'm not, I just really forget about it. It's not a bad album. It's got some good songs on it, like Sun in the Morning and Succubus and the title track, and it's good, but it didn't have that lasting power. It didn't stick to me like I wanted it to. This album I do really think will stick around, because this album fucking rips, man. This is just a straight up thrash fest. Now I think when it comes to thrash in 2016, Vector has the album to beat with Terminal Redux. I mean, their album just completely blows a lot of shit out of the water this year. It's a great album. But this gives it a run for its fucking money, man. I mean, it starts off with The Moth. I love the beginning of that song, and I mean, that song just is so heavy. It's so good, but I like when Death Angels kind of spices it up. So I really like the third track, Lost, which is a much slower track and feels much more of just a ballady-like track, a rock track. I really fucking love that song. I love Mark's vocals on that song. I love the emotion in the chorus. Everything about that song is great. It reminds me of like Claws In So Deep from Relentless Retribution. It's a little bit slower, and I really fucking love that song. That's a standout track to me. Another one that stands out, Hatred United, United Hate. Like he said, I love that middle section. When that middle section comes on, fucking headbang, man. It's awesome. That's a pissed off song. Another really pissed off song is Father of Lies. That's a really catchy song that I really dig the vocals. I love, the lyrics in that song are great. But one song that got me, and I was driving today, and the song Breakaway came on. That song is by far the fastest song on here. That song fucking rips. I was like, yeah. I was like gritting my teeth. I'm like, this is just fucking sick, man. Death Angel's style of thrash is like no one else, in my opinion. You know, they kind of just, they have an attitude to them, especially in the vocals. I mean, I feel with Death Angel, and it's going to sound weird, there's always a lot of vocals in the song, in that there's a lot of words that are said. But I like that. You know, I like the lyrics, and it just, I don't know. It's hard for me to describe why I really like that, but it works really well. And a lot of the choruses on here are awesome. I love Mark's style vocally. I mean, there's no one like him. I love his angst. His rhythms are just so good, and he just fits in with everything. Everything just comes together with Death Angel perfectly, from the drums to the guitars to the vocals. It just all clicks, and it seems to click all the time. But, does it click and stay with you? That's the only part about Death Angel sometimes, is that they don't stay with you as much as you want them to. But when you listen to it, you're like, dude, these guys are just fucking great. But I think this album seriously has some staying power. I think this is truly a top 10 album in 2016. I know we're only a little under halfway through, but this is a fucking awesome album. This is one of the best thrash albums in the last couple of years, in my opinion. Just every song is a standout in some way. And the riffs are tight, the solos are tight. Rob Cavestany, I believe his name is. He's a fucking great guitar player and great writer, and he just knocks it out of the park on this album. Yeah, I really like this album, man. It is good. If you like thrash, I mean, it's there. I just think Vector and Death Angel are kind of in their own league. Well, Megadeth and Anthrax put out great albums, thrash albums this year too. But I feel these two, Vector and Death Angel, are kind of up here, then Megadeth and Anthrax, and then Destruction's like way down here. But then kind of everybody else, That Destruction album's not that good. Aww. It's okay.
Aww.
I don't know. It's whatever. When's Creator gonna put out a new album?
I know. I keep thinking that. It was like 2012.
Maybe they're just done. They're like, we can't top this. Masterpiece. We're just done.
I mean, maybe that's gonna be really hard to top, but I mean, I want them to try.
I mean, Testament has a new one coming out apparently this year.
I mean, supposedly, even though it's been supposedly for like the last 4 years or so, Metallica is supposed to put their album out.
That'll definitely be the thrash album of 2016.
Yeah, it will be. One thing Lost was the song I was thinking of earlier when I was like, wow, this song's different. It was Lost. I mean, Hatred United, United Hates, different, but Lost was the song that I was thinking of. I'm like, oh, this is interesting, because again, I listened to most of these albums, while listening through Spotify on my phone, so I don't know the order in which the albums played. I just kind of listen to songs.
Sounds like it got lost.
It got lost in the translation. That was my bad. I'm sorry. Solid album. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for me.
9 out of 10 for me, too.
Oh.